What is up, music junkies? We hope you're doing good. We're just chilling, bringing you a brand new episode, some fresh new content. But before we jump into that and discuss some of our music news, Mario, how have you been, man? How was your 4th of July?
It was all right. I didn't do much. Pretty much just stayed home. I had to keep, my guest right here. My dog was freaking out because of the freaking fireworks. They were going off all day, and he was just having a fit. He did not like it whatsoever.
Yeah,
So,
my mom's 5 dogs aren't enjoying it either, but
and these fireworks were like fireworks on steroids. Like seriously, these were the loudest fireworks I've ever heard in my life.
a lot of the people that I know personally, they bought some pretty sweet, really nice illegal fireworks. So I mean,
But it's every firework in California was illegal.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
there was
yeah, yeah.
they because they made them illegal because of the COVID, and there was
Mhm.
this. I saw this aerial shot as the news. It was a helicopter going, around the city. I don't remember what city it was, but it was just fireworks after fireworks, and they were like the legal fireworks of California. No, it was just one of those days where I didn't have anything really to celebrate. I don't really celebrate Fourth of July, anyways. If I do, it's just going to the pool. But we decided to stay home and stay with the dogs they would
Take the dogs on a walk.
because they would freak out. Yeah. What did you do?
Okay. So 4th of July, I didn't really do much. I went over to my buddy Kyle's house, hung out. We were trying to get alcohol at a liquor store, but unfortunately it closed right at midnight. Big surprise, right? Yeah, we knew it too, but we're getting a pizza, and he wanted to get the pizza before the pizza joint closed. But
You
by
just
doing
didn't.
so,
You didn't time it right,
no, we didn't time it right at all. I guess I should have went in and looked, and I guess it's my fault. I feel a little bummed out.
dude. Haven't we said before? Everything is your fault.
Everything. God, I
Uh,
know, I know. Um, damn, that's deep. But anyway, we ended up going back to his place. We hung out. Um, I partook in some grass, so that was kind of nice. It's 4th of July.
it's Fourth
Got to
of
get
July.
away.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Every day's been plenty if you
But I
think
got
about it.
high.
No,
I'm gonna I'm
and
gonna sing you that song, the Afrojack song.
you should sing me that song. But I went swimming for a little bit. And do you know what those kinds of dogs are? What are they? They're like military working dogs that look like German shepherds. The Belgian
Belgium.
Malinois.
That's what
Yeah.
he is. He's
My
a
buddy
part
has, yeah.
Belgian.
So my buddy has one of those, and he will dead ass dive into the pool and fucking chase you down as you're trying to swim away from that motherfucker. He'll drown your ass.
My Lucy, my white dog, does that, and literally every time I go into the pool, I come out scratches my whole body because they swim fucking fast. You can't get away from a fucking dog swimming
Well,
at
well,
you
luck,
at full speed.
luckily this one, his nails weren't that hard, and he was kind of gentle with it. He's 6 months old, but he'll pull you under and sit on top of you, and then swim
Yeah,
in a circle around you until you come back up for air. He's
like a
fucking mean.
shark, like a shark.
Yeah, like
Dun,
a
dun,
shark,
dun,
dude.
dun, 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 dun.
But outside of that, I saw some fireworks outside. I didn't go sit on the roof like I should have, but I was able to see a little bit. So I enjoyed it for what it was. Just spent time with good people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's what life is all about. You want to kind of spend as much time as you can with the good people. So, anyways, let's get back to the music. So, Bring Me the Horizon has a new song out. It's called Parasite, and Parasite I. Sorry, I can't even read my own fucking writing. Parasite I, and it has a mixture of like a little bit of rap. Remember that song Falling in Reverse, the Popular Monster?
Yes.
So, it's not that much rap, but if like as soon as it starts, it just starts like rapping and it sounds a little poppy. It has a lot of synthesizer, like a lot of keys and stuff like that. So, it's a unique song. It's pretty good. It's Bring Me the Horizon, man. They changed like every freaking song they make is different. You know,
I like Bring Me the Horizon. It seems like right now, what I was able to kind of observe and see is there's a lot of genres of bands and music that are taking a political stand now, especially with over 4th of July. Like Axl Rose, You know, he's a very outspoken guy, and he just basically felt the need to defend himself to the masses. You know, his opinions. Godsmack too. He definitely don't want Joe Biden in control of this
Who the
country,
fuck
man.
wants Joe Biden? I mean,
Yeah, nobody. And I think it's good that people are fucking talking about it. You
I
know,
mean,
like it's not just the average Joes. It's everyone. You know, people in the
well,
industry.
especially the people in the industry. You know, they have the largest
The
platform.
largest voice, exactly.
Like when what they say radiates to millions of people. You know, it's not just like me and you. We have our podcast and we have fucking like this many listeners, and they have a social media platform where they have 1.5 million followers or whatever the case may be. So they have. I mean, if I was in their shoes, I would be voicing my opinions and stuff like that. As long as my opinions aren't hurtful or harmful to others.
Detrimental, yeah. You know, you definitely want to convey your message. Obviously, there's going to be some damage done because people just can't find it within themselves to see things from your perspective because they can't think outside of themselves. So you're either all good or all bad. You know, something society should step away from.
Yeah, it's just like people have their opinions and their opinions are always right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I mean, so what is your take on this? So President Trump used one of Neil Young's songs um, at an MTV Rushmore event, and I don't think that Trump got his permission, and Trump just thinks he can do it because he's Trump. Well, Neil Young's fucking pissed.
I would fucking sue.
I would too.
I would sue. You have no right to use my music, especially if I'm not a Trump supporter and like say I make a song and he uses it without my permission. First of all, I don't support anything Trump does or says.
Okay.
Second of all, you didn't ask for my permission. So hell yeah, I'm gonna fucking sue. Fuck that shit.
And again, these are the people that have the voices. These are the people that are trying to either make a difference or just use their music, their creative work to set a change or set, something in the world.
Yeah.
And no, they don't want it to be used for malicious and fucked up and stupid reasons. No.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that either.
I mean, when you become famous, you have one of the largest voices, so your voice reaches millions. So when people become famous, there's many people that do they become famous to just be famous and rich, or do they become famous to make a difference? And that's what we're noticing now is a lot of people are using their fame to make a difference or to talk about making a difference instead
I see that too.
Other people just getting famous and making money, and that's all they care about.
Now, I see that, but I also do see there are some individuals that go in with good intentions, but I guess somehow lose their way along the process. And I guess it's easy to do.
Well, it's the money and the drugs and the fancy cars, the girls, the guys, whatever whatever gender they are, whatever they're into.
I just watched a really fucking good. It was almost like a documentary of Motley Crue. I think it's called The Dirt.
Dude, that's a movie. Yeah, with Machine Gun Kelly. Yeah. Dude, that movie is so bad. I've seen that movie like 40 times. It's such a good movie. Motley Crue, they're one of the fucking craziest motherfuckers ever. Mm-hmm. No one beats Ozzy Osbourne, though. I don't know if you saw in that movie. Ozzy Osbourne fucking snorts some ants.
Some ants off the fucking ground.
That's a true story.
Dude's fucking pissed. Licks his... he's fucked up, man.
So, I don't know if you saw the ending. At the end credits, Tommy Lee and, all of them are talking about, all those different scenarios and how it happened, how everything happened. And it was all true. It was all real. And they were showing pictures of, like, those events. So, imagine fucking just going ham and going crazy at every fucking...
Imagine being some guy that owns a venue and having them come and play at your
God. Well, that's like the Chariot right now. The Chariot... Well, not right now, because I don't know often they play anymore.
They ain't playing right now.
Well, of course, no one's playing right now, but they would get kicked out of like every venue because they would start a fire, they would destroy everything, you
Their
know,
mosh pits get out of control.
everything would just get crazy at one of those shows. But it's a Chariot. I mean, they fucking go crazy, and I would, if I was in that band, I would go crazy too. Their music is so melodic and weird and
Yeah.
fucking insane.
Also, for those of you Linkin Park fans out there, uh, in the end, just reached 1 billion views on YouTube.
Wow. How
1
many
billion.
how many videos have 1 billion? Not that many.
No, not that many. And I think it started to kick up and pick up, shortly after the passing of Chester Bennington. God
Oh,
rest his fucking soul.
yeah. He was a legend, man. He
He was
was
a legend. Dude had so many
one of my
struggles.
one of my idols, but I mean, depression, man, just gets the best of us. You could have the best life ever and just depression would just soup you up.
Fuck it
So
all out of
imagine,
you.
so imagine, living the life of a musician, having everything you ever wanted, playing music, making, a living, you're buying your expensive cars, and still,
And still having to deal with
that's
your
not
demons on
enough.
the inside,
That's
wishing you were
not,
someone
yeah.
else.
Goes to show that money can't get you everything you want. Can't get you
Exactly.
happiness. Can't, it helps, of course, it helps, but when you're mentally ill and unstable and you have depression, like, you know, and I don't want to out me, but I have, I've struggled with depression and stuff. It's just not never, it's never enough. There's nothing will ever be enough when you're, dealing with stuff in your
In
head.
that state of mind, yeah, because with as much as you try to like break free of those fucking shackles that bind you that are in your mind, it's nobody takes mental health seriously until their own has been completely compromised. Then they're like, oh, you know what? Now I can fucking empathize with you people. Holy shit, I am so sorry.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's a struggle, man, because people with depression, anxiety, any kind of mental illness, man, they fucking struggle every day really hard. And when you can't empathize with these kinds of people,
Hold on, hold on. Okay, go.
when you can't empathize with these kinds of people, it makes it difficult for you to even begin to understand what a person may or may not be going through. And musicians, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of them are musicians because that's a positive outlet in their life for the trauma that they've been through. That's the thing that keeps them alive. And I think that's that for a lot of people.
Yep, and it's not just musicians. There's a lot of actors. Like look at Robin Williams.
Hmm.
Robin Williams was
Unfortunately, he
the
had to go
happiest,
through.
the happiest, most go-lucky person on the outside, and on the inside just tears you up.
Hmm.
It's he's a comedian, so he does it for laughs. He did his whole career was for laughs, and it just wasn't enough. Like I said, it's never enough.
And then I watched a documentary about Elton John, his life.
Oh, that video, Rocket Man, the movie.
Hmm.
Dude, why?
Dude,
These are not documentaries. These are movies.
about his fucking life, dude.
That's not a documentary.
Okay, well, is it based on true events?
No, not necessarily.
So
It's a
it's made up.
musical.
I know it's a fucking musical, but dude talks about his life. I thought
It's loosely based on his life, but
that's fucked up because his
it's all
relationship with
It's
his
all
was hella
Hollywood.
triggering for me.
It's all Hollywood up. They kind of exaggerated, and it's a musical, so of course they're not gonna be dead on. But the guy that played him, what's his name? Forget his name. It's something British.
He was really good.
He's from Kingsman.
Hmm.
He did a really good job, and him and Elton worked together on making that movie and kind of helping him play the role of Elton John. Elton John is a fucking legend. He'll always be a legend. His music is amazing. Like another movie, if we're talking about movies with music, is Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I mean, it's he didn't sing. I don't know if you saw. There's a guy that sung for him, for the actor that played Freddie Mercury, but they just played that role was just amazing, and he did a really good job. And if I don't know if you saw, but the video of when they played their last biggest show, um, they played it side by side with the movie, and it was exact. Like the actor did everything exactly the way Freddie Mercury did it when he was alive.
Damn.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, my ex was an excellent actress as well.
Anyways, we'll get away from that. Wage War came out with the acoustic version of their song Grave. Really good song. I love the song. I love the meaning. And I think you actually might like it because it's talking about the way someone is. They'll never fucking change. They'll take it to their grave. That's pretty much the chorus. So I would recommend listening to it.
I will personally listen to it. I think the viewers should too.
Yeah. And then Slaves came out with the new song. And I know Slaves is a band that the band that we're interviewing played with, and that was one of their biggest shows. So they're a really good band, and they're huge, but they came out with a new song called Like I Do. It was released this year. I don't know the exact date, but listen to them. Secrets has a new song as well called Calm Down. Great song. And Secrets is a really good band. They've been in the biz for what, maybe 5-6 years, something like that. I saw them live. I think they played in Yuma. Secrets, or was it Crown the Empire?
Crown the Empire. We didn't play with. We saw them, or at least we. Didn't you book one of their shows for them?
No, I booked Jamie's Elsewhere.
That's right.
I don't know if we've talked about Jamie's Elsewhere, but Jamie's Elsewhere is coming back. They're a band they've been. I think we did. I think we already talked to them, but they're already working on their album, and I think they're close to being done. So their vocalist went to Of Mice and Men and came back. It was really good. I booked them. I booked them in El Centro. So they bailed on me the first date that I booked them on, and then they came back the second date. But the first date that I booked them on, it was a sold out show. It was like 300 people in the venue, and then they bailed. So I had to, it was not Here Stands. No, I don't think it was Here Stands, but I had to play a show there, and I had to headline. It was like a monster bash. It was a Halloween show, and they bailed.
Okay.
And
Were you in All Monsters when you did that?
no, I was already like 19, 20.
Oh, shit.
We had already broken up. Anyways, Suicide Silence. We get sidetracked so fucking much on this show. Anyways, Suicide Silence is doing a virtual world tour. So if you're like, in certain areas, in certain geographical areas, you could buy tickets to see them play live, do a Q&A with their fans and stuff like that. So you actually have to pay to watch them, but it's, all live, and they get to do what they love, and you get to watch them play a show. It's pretty cool. I mean, I think more bands should be doing that the virtual stuff, because
I agree.
that's
Just
all we can do.
hopefully most of their fan base can support them in that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think we're ready for the band Common Vision. Great band, and we're ready for the interview. Let's bring them on. All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. I know it was a little bit short notice, but I appreciate you guys making the kind of the Zoom trip out here. So, I looked looked you guys up, and you guys are fairly new. So I want to know, how did you guys get started? I saw you guys were in different bands before, and then all came together. How did that happen?
Yeah, that's it. We were all kind of friends, or a couple of the guys have been in other projects together, and then initially it started as like I would like to say like a fun almost side project, and then got together, did a song, loved it. Basically, we're like, okay, you want to do another one? This first one was awesome. Did a second one, and then it's like, hey, let's roll with this. Why don't we just make this band our priority? And that's really the rest is history.
Pretty cool. And what kind of experiences? How did you guys like actually meet? Like, how did you guys get together?
So originally it was myself, Matt, and Mike, the bassist. And I mean, we've been kind of jamming together on and off for several years now. We just never found a singer. We had a bass player before Mike that was doing some recording stuff or whatever, and he actually recorded Tim's older band. And when I guess things weren't going so well with that or whatever, he reached out to him and was like, hey, I got these guys, they have this song, let's try to do some vocals on it. And that first track we did with him, it's on our debut EP, A Better Fate, that's what it's called. And we all kind of clicked, and from there, we cranked out that EP in probably like 4 months or something like that. Like, it just
Damn.
Every weekend we were just getting together, and it was just happening so quickly.
How do you feel that dynamic is with you guys as opposed to what other bands you've been in?
I don't know, and it seemed to kind of mesh naturally. I mean, when you just get with someone, and it felt like first couple times, it felt like we've been in bands and we're best friends already. The chemistry was just there, and it just seemed like everything everybody brought just glued so well, and it's so nice and so refreshing.
That's always the hardest part, huh? Just getting everyone to click, everyone to be on the same page.
So it's so nice when it actually feels so magnetized,
So
and I think that was I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's kind of like even how like the band name, like, Common Vision came about. We trying to think of a band name, and it was just Common Vision made sense because we just all kind of saw things eye to eye. Like, even before, we got Tim in the band, and we were trying other people out, and we were trying with different members, and just not seeing eye to eye on things, just anything from a business standpoint to the writing process, any of those things. So once we got Tim on board, everything just kind of, like I said, it kind of just organically
clicked,
just happened the momentum was like unstoppable for us. Like, and we really don't, I've been in bands where I've toured and things like that, not gotten along with, certain members or things like that or whatever, where we're all more or less, best friends. And there's really no arguments. If somebody doesn't agree with something, we kind of, readjust and make sure that everybody's happy. And that's probably been like the main, focal point of the band, is making sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the coolest thing too is that there's no drama with anybody. So like, we all just really get along. And I came from a previous band where basically the singer was like a narcissist. And so this is kind of refreshing to just be in a band where everybody's just friends, gets along. We all value each other's opinion. When we're writing a song, we're not afraid to speak out and say what we like and what we don't like, and then everybody else respects everybody else's opinion. Yeah. So we always come to some kind of compromise, and I think that's part of the success of as far as songwriting, how we've been able to push songs out as fast as we pushed out, because we are still relatively new band, but we just keep that writing process and that flowing. Probably just keep. It's like AJ will come up with some cool riffs, and we're like, "Wow, man, that's maybe we should work on that." Then comes other cool riffs, and we're like, "Wow, that could be like another song." And then Matt throws down some drums, and it's just it just all becomes like a simple process. And it's weird because in previous bands, you get that writer's block. It's hard to concentrate on writing, and and ideals, but here just everything flows so nicely, and it's really a cool process to be a part of. It's like a family, you know. It's like we're all brothers, and you know, it's
Beautiful.
amazing
So
working with
you're-
these guys, for sure.
So your guys' writing process, you guys mentioned that a couple of times. So where do you usually start? Is it just the guitars, or how do you go about like writing your lyrics?
AJ,
Like, I know obviously it goes with feeling, but I mean, let's get a little more in depth with that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's I have this riff maybe I wrote, you know, during the week or something, or maybe I was working on something that wasn't fitting a song we had at the time, and I'm like, hey, you know, I worked on this some more. Maybe I have something else to bring to the table with this. There's other times too where, you know, Tim will record himself sometimes in the group chat and just be like, hey, I got this little melody or something. Same thing with Matt. I mean, Matt is like, you know, a huge part of the writing process, not only being the drummer, he does a lot of our production and recording. I mean, we record here at my house, but it's all of, you know, Matt's gear that we're using. He's got to lay down like, you know, sometimes I might not have a guitar riff, but I did something that he heard that he goes, hey, let me try something on like the keyboard or something like that. Or I've got a sample I want to try, or I have a beat that might actually work on that. And, you know, so sometimes, most of the time that might be a guitar riff, but there's other times where, you know, a song comes out of like left field from an idea like that. And I think those sometimes are our best songs.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that sounds awesome. So what is one of the hardest things you guys face when you're in the studio trying to like record your tracks? Like, what do you guys think is the hardest part of all of it?
So I think we're all perfectionists, and we our own worst critiques. So like,
Yup.
that's probably it. When you know, AJ, I might think he played something perfect, or I might think Matt played something perfect, et cetera, et cetera. And they're like, no, I'm missing that one part. And well, until we nailed it, and I'm like, I think it sounds perfect. So, and it's the same thing. I'm like, I know I can sing this part better, blah, blah, blah.
So you're all just like nitpicking something of your own, you
Yeah.
know, your own creative process.
Really,
Yeah,
we have so much
Yeah, it
fun.
helps.
that's the same thing with Tim too. When Tim finally comes in and does vocals, sometimes he's like, you know, I don't really know about that part, and we all three just kind of look at each other and we're like, dude, that was freaking
That
awesome.
was that was amazing. I don't know what you're talking about.
That was amazing. So, you know, we're all our own worst critics, I guess. But it's cool having the other three
Mike, you're
guys
cutting out a
there.
little
And because what my thought that us are like, dude, that was freaking perfect. You know, don't change it. You know, so it's cool. You know, in that sense.
So you said you record
Don't
everything.
let AJ fool you, man. He's a riff master. Me and sometimes AJ will pull out some riffs, and me and Matt will look at each other, and we'll just kind of laugh. And Matt's like, "What the heck just happened?" So it's crazy. Don't let AJ fool you. He's a riff master, dude.
So
Thanks.
you record everything at your house, AJ. You said that you don't.
Yeah.
You don't go to a studio. You record everything you guys yourself.
Yeah.
Ah, that's pretty badass. 'Cause-
Yeah,
But Matt, I would probably have Matt answer this question too.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, pull us up. Yeah. So we have a whole setup actually in the living room. So we'll sit there for weeks, and we don't work on a lot of songs all at one time. We just focus on one song, we get it done. Next song, we focus on that, get it done. So we kind of take care of it one at a time. But the best part about the process is we'll be writing it for weeks, and we have no idea what the vocals are going to be. And Tim just comes in, and the first time we hear the vocals is usually when we're recording it to get it mixed for the final. So we only hear it like a few times before it gets put into the final mix. But Tim nails that like 99.99 right on it, right when he walks in the door. So it makes it very easy for the rest of us.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, you guys have badass sound for, you know, recording in a living room. I would have never thought that.
Yeah.
How are you guys dampening the noise inside of that room though? Do you have any absorption on the walls, or do you have like a reflection filter behind the mic, or what's your guys' setup? Come on, spill the beans.
What do you want to tell them about the? Basically, what we're doing is pre-production, and then Matt can explain better than I can. But we have a guy that does our mixing, and he actually mastered the last song. but his name's Jake Atkins. Matt can kind of tell you the process about basically how he gets everything ready stem wise, and then we go and send it to Jake. He mixes everything down. We reamp the guitars with a guy in Miami. AJ would probably know his name if you want to give him a shout out. But there's a little bit of a process, but we make it easy on Jake, which I'm sure he appreciates that because Matt puts so much time into getting everything almost perfected to where, it just needs some tweaks here and there and get some of Jake in, his input on things.
No. Jake is amazing
about that as well.
Jake is amazing. Jake is absolutely amazing. And if you haven't checked out Jake's YouTube channel, you should check it out because the amount of talent that Jake has pushing out all of these different covers, all of these songs on his own band, Wake Up Hate. He is a phenomenal, talented guy. What we do is we record a lot of the stuff in the studio at AJ's house, but for the guitars, well, during the demo process, we'll amp them, and then before we send them off to get mixed, we re-record them fresh and clean in stem files. Stem files are reamped through our buddy Phil, who has an entire wall of amps, cabinets. It's amazing if you haven't seen pictures of what he's got. He reamps it, Jake mixes, masters it, does this phenomenal job, and it's kind of a whole process we have set up. We don't really got to think about it. It's just we know the steps and we take the steps and we just push the songs out. We don't really second guess ourselves either.
That's badass.
And Andrew Wade, I'm sure you guys probably know Andrew Wade from Wage War and A Day to Remember.
Yeah.
But he mastered the previous 3 songs, I think it was, Matt. Are we on song 4 or 5?
Andrew Wade did the Between Empathy and Apathy, and he did Beneath the Surface. But Jake did master this last one.
Right.
Yeah, Jake's phenomenal. I mean, if you haven't seen his YouTube or if you haven't interviewed him, go hit him up after us because he's excellent to talk to.
Yeah, definitely check him out. I kind of wrote it. That Wake Up the Hate, you said, right? Is his band name?
Wake Up Hate. Yeah.
Wake Up Hate. Awesome. Definitely check them out. So I know you guys have, only been around since 2018. So what kind of shows have you guys played with and who have you played with? Who's your favorite person that you've played with so far or favorite band?
There's a few of them. Me personally, I've always been a huge fan of I Set to Kill and actually was able to befriend them a few years ago and we were able to play with them and that was really, really cool. There's been several, but I know that each of the guys, I think we all have one of those shows that's been kind of our favorite. I know that show for me was probably the highlight.
Right. Slaves, I think, for probably maybe because we're all big Slaves fans as well. So I know, speaking for myself and AJ and Matt, and really Tim, Slaves was definitely a highlight. But just because.
Yeah, that was Slaves, Fame on Fire, and the other bands slipping mind, but that was a sold out show here in Orlando, like at our home venue. We got to play a little later in the night before those guys too, which was great. So we had like a really good slot. So the place was like max capacity and everything. And that was probably our biggest show. Still being a new band, it's really hard to get on some like really good shows. A lot of the times you're playing to, just the other bands and their girlfriends and yours, but so we're still kind of working on that, but I would have to say the Slave show, the I Set to Kill show. We also played with a band Adelita's Way. They have a little bit of radio notoriety as well. But again, that was like a show where, we are the local band. So, I mean, we played.
It's always an opening.
There,
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your next step to like get onto these, large, with COVID going on, you can't really do shit.
As soon as that's over, hopefully we figure that out.
That's all right now.
We want to play some shows again. I'm sure we're all dying to play shows. And, all the fans out there, they're all dying to go see shows. So, I think once everything starts moving again, which is hopefully soon, I think people's going to be in for some really cool shows, man, because the artists we're out here dying to get on stage, man. So you imagine the first couple shows, it's just going to be off the chain. And I think that's both from a band standpoint and from an audience, just a fan standpoint, because everybody's fighting to get back to live shows. And
Have you guys thought about doing a virtual show?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's something we're really considering.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
Talk
it's
about
something we've only thought about the last
Well,
week or so, but
I think that's super badass, especially for your fan base. But it's just so hard to coordinate all aspects and getting the sound to be perfect when you're doing it live and stuff like that. Like we had a reggae band on the B Foundation. They do one about like once a week, like a live show for everyone, acoustic. They all sit out in their garage and just jam out. I think that process is pretty cool, especially now with the virtual. They're doing the virtual EDM festivals and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys saw those, but
Yeah, social distancing compliant, all that fun jazz.
we need moshing back though, man. We hopefully the social distancing can end.
You need to open up that pit.
We need the mosh.
Yeah,
Skulls in this place, man.
and also like I think if we had a good platform to present an online thing, I think we would be all for that as well. It's just right now we're just in the process of building up our fan base, so that's a whole other thing that we've got to work on as well. So whether 15 people tune in or 2,000 tune in, I think it if we had a good outlet maybe to promote that on, then yeah, we would definitely be up for it. So
and I think I think I was speaking to a band the other day that told me about this website. It's pretty popular and everyone's streaming through it. And I'm gonna get that information and send it out to you guys. And they get you their fans, they promote it, and they do everything. All you got to do is just log in and start jamming.
Now, is that the one where you can also like record online too?
No. That's just a website. That's just a recording service. But this one is all virtual, and they do everything for you. I forgot, but I'll look it up.
The local rock, like the hard rock metal station here in Orlando, they've been doing the virtual concert series now at a local venue, and they set up the whole virtual thing. I don't think anybody's actually allowed there besides the bands themselves, and they're doing like live performances and streaming them to Facebook Live, IG Live, and some other stuff. So I just found out about that like within like the last week or so. So we've been trying to reach out and see if maybe that's something we can potentially do, because we do enjoy playing live very much.
Yeah. And so I know you guys, you're not signed, right?
We're not signed.
So what do you think is the biggest struggle of an unsigned band is like promoting, selling and all that? What do you think is the biggest struggle?
I'll let AJ answer that. AJ was actually in a pretty popular signed band at one point in time. AJ, if you want to share your experiences between the two different bands with that.
Well, I mean, the big thing with that is, I mean, that was going back to like the early 2000s. Showing my age here. But yeah, like 2006, it was a different time. Even around that time when things started changing, before that kind of like, handing out your demo tape or your burnt CD with the magic marker on it at the local, big show, compared to, having the hottest, MySpace track, to now the game's changed so much now between Spotify numbers, things like that. I would say the biggest, the most difficult thing about all of it would probably be just trying to break through, like the crust, so to speak, like to get through. I'm not saying anything about like our band being better than another band or anything. It's just, there is so many bands, the saturation of music that's available nowadays. So, what makes your band stick out from the other? Let's say there's 100 local bands, and then when you start breaking away from that, now there's like 2-3 cities over, 2-3 hours away, you're trying to hit that fan base, then statewide, then East Coast wide, region wide, nationally, globally. I would say the biggest thing is just trying to break through like that layer of everyone else, and then trying to harness that and push through that. I think that's the most difficult thing.
I mean, and you guys have 2 years, making music, and you guys already have 15,000 monthly listeners, and your top song I think has 91,000 streams. Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty damn good for just starting out.
Yeah, it definitely didn't happen overnight. I mean, even like our debut EP, it barely touches that. There's a lot of things we've had to learn along the way. A big thing is definitely the marketing. and getting your name out there. Like I said, like Spotify seems to be a big thing now. Apple Music, I haven't, I'm still tapping into that. Even getting like YouTube or your Instagram account, how you market it, how you boost your posts. These are like all things that, your music's got to be top notch and everything. And then from there, now you got to get people to listen to it. So that's the big thing is that reach, trying to get through.
And, the big thing is touring, playing shows, playing different places, because that's how you really promote yourself, and you can't really promote yourself right now with COVID. So so I think that's probably affecting you guys a lot, is not being able to present your music, because right now it's all social. It's all social media, telling people, hey, please listen, get on our Spotify. Some people don't necessarily always do that. They like to listen what they already know or what they've seen live, because live performance for me personally is pretty much everything. If you know how to perform live, then I'm going to listen to your music.
Well, that's us. And like that Cena can probably say that too, that we really bring like high energy to our shows, and that's big. That would be the biggest thing about performing doing a virtual concert, is we love that interaction, that being close to these people watching us, and we love hanging out with them, watching other bands, and it's so cool that that's what like we miss, and can't wait to get back doing that for shows. I mean, I can say that we absolutely love that. I mean, any aspect of the band I love, whether it's recording, hanging out, writing, doing stuff like this. But I know playing shows, that safe to say we all, love that more than anything.
Yeah. So I know we talked about how COVID has negatively affected you. How has it positively affected you? Are you guys writing right now at the moment? Is that your main focus, or is it just mostly promoting yourself?
How are you adapting is the question.
Yeah.
Definitely writing.
Yeah.
Mainly, it's helped our songwriting, because we really focused on writing now, because we don't have to worry about so much about hey, we got a show coming up in a week or 2 weeks. We got to start practicing or whatever for that. So it's really opened our mind up as far as just knocking out some new songs and writing, and thinking more of a promotion type thing, marketing, just because we have a lot of time to kind of have different ideas about all that and read into things and study things, and so that's what we've been trying to do to keep busy.
So what are some of your biggest inspirations in the music industry? Like what bands are you like, what, these guys are freaking sweet and they inspire us to be harder, or whatever?
For me, I would say Bring Me the Horizon is a big one. I think it's probably big on a lot of ours. But I even like some, like older stuff. Like I'm into Tool, Rage Against the Machine, things of that sort. So I like I Prevail, Beartooth. I know Matt's got a lot of different influences that he likes as well.
There was one, as it's kind of funny though, is before this whole COVID thing happened, me and Tim had tickets to go see Dayseeker. I don't know if you guys are like Dayseeker fans, but they ended up getting canceled like the week before. But Dayseeker is amazing. Like, I love the last Wage War album. They're amazing. Fire from the Gods, Crown the Empire.
And those are all up and coming bands. Fire from the Gods and Wage War blowing up right now.
Yeah. So we'll do that stuff, like, and then we'll put on Veil of Maya for kicks, just because it's so technical and amazing. So
Deftones.
Deftones too.
Yeah, Deftones. Yeah, definitely Deftones.
What about you, Tim?
Yeah, well, Matt kind of stole the one. It kind of ranges me. I grew up on like Linkin. Well, my mom raised me on like classic rock, so obviously that's where I got into the rock and roll. But then I, once I heard Linkin Park, like that was my favorite band for years. Then it got into a little heavier stuff, some of more of the post-hardcore influence. And then now, like, I was actually going to bring up that show that Matt was talking about. It was We Came with Romans, The Devil Wears Prada, and Dayseeker, which are all three of my favorite bands. And then literally, I think it was like 2 days before they called it like the lockdown in Florida or whatnot. So we're kind of bummed about that. Yeah, there's so many bands that are influencing, but like I said, I kind of cut my teeth on the Blink 182, Linkin Park, and now I shared Dave Digger's last album yesterday because I've played that for almost a year straight.
So good.
I know who AJ is going to say.
What?
Slaves.
Yeah, I like Slaves.
Oh, hold up, Mike, why are you in the dark, man? Do you not own a light in your house?
Nah, dude, I've got my light. It's storming here. I'm in a different area, but it's storming here. And I have my home theater thing going. So I don't know if you can see the
Mike,
thing.
You know
So,
why he's
Mike.
in the dark? Because he's a bassist and he sits well in the mix.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
Mike, you have the most Florida accent I've ever heard in my life.
Florida?
Yeah.
Really? Because I was born in West Virginia.
That's
all I hear is Florida.
You know,
Hey,
that's funny.
One day we'll leak his prom picture.
It looks
That
like
is
Joe
coming.
Dirt. That's
Joe
Joe
Dirt.
Dirt with.
Yo, dear today.
Yeah.
Oh god.
AJ's from New York, so he can talk like a New York guy.
Yeah, I lost my accent a little bit over the years. I've been here for like 12 years now. So, but if I go back to New York the next 2 weeks, it's pretty strong.
Yeah, the first time I met him, I thought his name was Frank Rizzo.
Or if you get a little irritated, AJ's got a little bit of road. Nicest guy in the world outside of his car, but if you're riding with AJ, he's got a little road rage. His New Yorker really comes out. I have a hard time learning what some of these words are.
Yeah.
Man, I got tire marks all over my back now.
How could,
Threw me under the bus.
did you ever drive in New York?
Oh yeah,
New
Oh,
York
yeah.
City? Or just
Yeah.
how?
But I will say
How?
that the traffic in LA is pretty brutal too.
Oh,
I
fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I would not drive there. I just Ubered or taxied or walked. I'm a good driver. That's too much for me.
What, LA or New York?
LA. I wouldn't
LA.
drive.
Oh, I'm
I wouldn't-
in San Diego right now, so you
Oh,
know
really?
the traffic
Oh,
in
dude,
San Diego is
San
pretty
Diego's
bad. I fucking
Yeah.
despise LA. Go
Yeah.
driving up there, I avoid it. I will spend 2 hours extra on my trip to go around LA
I don't blame you one bit.
because
Yeah, that
you
was
know
all-
if I don't do those 2 extra hours, I'm in traffic for another 4 hours. You know?
I don't know, man. I haven't really been to LA's traffic, but I got San Francisco's traffic to contend with, and that's small.
Oh shit, that's got to be bad too.
That's rough.
Dude, I drove from San Diego to LA one day, and it was, because when you look, it's what, an hour and a half, 2 hours, or something like that.
It's an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Yeah, it took me like 4.5 hours.
Yep.
It was brutal. I hated it.
I go fucking
But,
around it.
Yeah, I feel you. Orlando's kind of bad too. I mean,
Yeah,
there's I-4.
Orlando's getting really bad now.
gross.
Yeah, I think if you look at some kind of studies like I-4 that links all of Orlando that we basically have to use, it's like one of the deadliest roadways in the whole country.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, if you was ever on it, you'd know why. So,
It sucks.
So, how is the scene in Orlando? I know you guys were talking about like all the people that have played there. How is the scene?
I think Orlando's got sorry to interrupt. I think Orlando's got a pretty booming scene. I mean, it really does, unless obviously circumstances like we're under right now happen. It's a good market. I mean, it's one of the main ones in Florida, honestly. So we're kind of lucky and have an advantage there to that be our home crowd, so to speak, because there is a lot of bands that have that as one of their tour shows. And then people like the patrons that go to shows and the fans and stuff are really supportive in Orlando. I mean, that's you got the theme parks and stuff, but then the nightlife and shows and stuff is like one of the main things people do in Orlando.
Used to do, not so much right now. It's kind of crazy though, because a lot of bands are doing content creating. Like they can't play shows, so you see a lot of just content being created, videos, live streams,
Patreon,
it's
and
kinda
stuff
cool.
like that.
Patreon. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to kind of see everybody start to create their stuff digitally to make do, which is kind of what we're trying to do the same thing with the music video and trying to get the content out there so people are aware of things. But I mean, it's really cool to see everybody kind of do these things.
How are you guys recording or I know you guys have a music video. How did you guys record that? Was it yourselves?
Oh no, that was no. You would know if it was ourselves. No.
It would be pretty bad.
No, Aaron Berkshire.
Yeah.
He's done every single video we've ever put out, right? Yeah, pretty much.
We got
So
5 or
every-
6 of them with him.
Yeah, he does all of our content. He's a great guy. Super dependable. Project, whatever we do, projects usually done within 24 hours, completed, mastered everything. So
Yeah, that's
really
a pretty
good guy,
turn
really
time.
helpful. Yeah, he's crazy talented, really good guy.
Aaron's one of the best videographer, photographer, content creators, I would say, in the scene right now. I mean, he's got to be top 3. Literally, I would say almost worldwide right now. So we're very lucky to be able to work with him, especially more than once.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when it comes in terms of like shows before everything got locked down, where's one of your favorite places that you guys have played?
Soundbar.
There's a old venue in downtown Orlando that back in the day when I used to tour, when I still lived in New York, we used to come down here to Orlando. We used to play this place called it used to be called Back Booth at the time. It's like kind of like your, I wouldn't quite say it's just like a dive bar because it's got like a decent sound system and like the bar's kind of separated from like where the bands play and like the floor and all that. But they
Nice
renamed it
stage and
now the
everything.
Sound Bar. So we've played there several times now. In fact, we played there with Slaves. We played there with I Set to Kill, and those are both awesome shows all around, sound wise, turnout, etc. Yeah, that's a pretty cool place to play.
Sweet. So you guys think you'd go back if they opened everything back up and it was all hunky dory?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah,
Where do you guys want to go play?
Yeah.
Europe,
Everywhere.
everywhere. That was a stupid question. Huh?
Right, so first, if everything opens back up, where would you go first? No, not Florida. Where would you go first?
Download Festival, or if it was going on.
good point.
Nice.
Well, you know, if we had to dream, or Rock Am Ring, I think it's another one. It's just something
My
about
home
your
venue back home. I used to play. I grew up in New York. We had a place called The Chance. That's in Poughkeepsie, New York. I saw my first concert there ever, and I got to play my first like legit concert ever there. So I think it'd be cool to come through with this band because this has been my favorite thing I've been a part of musically. So like my whole band got to play there all the time, and that was kind of my home venue. So it'd be cool to see old family, friends get to finally see Common Vision, you know, and get to play that place again. With that nostalgia for me that'd probably be the highlight for me as far as like a smaller venue. I would love to play there again.
Yeah, I want to go out
I like
west. I want
these guys to West Virginia.
Yeah, is there venues?
Is there people there?
Where are we playing? Sasquatch's house?
Yeah. There's actually a cool club in West Virginia called the B Club. So
Oh, that's the club there. So
yeah,
I
that's
want
the club there. It's kind of like the sound bar here.
A
I
local
was
water in
to play,
Off to West.
out west, and then maybe Whiskey a Go out close to you guys.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good spot.
Yeah, we played at the Whiskey
Yeah.
with Asking Alexandria, and we came as Romans.
Nice.
And
Chain
Boy for a
Reaction.
Pretty Boy from first to last. It was a large lineup. It was a pretty cool show. That was my best show I've ever played. But
Yeah, the
Really?
Whiskey.
that was back
Also
in the
the
day.
Roxy.
Yeah,
Oh,
the Roxy right next door to the Whiskey. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either one of the thing would be cool. But yeah, I think where's Arizona? Chain Reaction. I think that would be cool too.
That's in
That's
Anaheim.
in Anaheim, yeah. Chain Reaction.
That's a cool place too, though.
Yeah.
Tucson has some pretty cool venues in Arizona.
Yeah.
I forgot the
What's
name.
that? What's the one
That's
that's
what
got
I-
like the checkered stage? It's got the floors like checkered, and it's got like the two big like posts like in the middle of the mosh pit in Tucson.
I know what
I
you're
played
talking
there a long
about.
time
I know what
ago.
you're talking about. I can't think of it.
I used to be in an old deathcore band, and we played there with like we were on a tour with like as Blood Runs Black,
Goddamn.
Job for a Cowboy, and Amir. I think that place, people were just like going nuts. I remember it, but I don't remember the name of it. I remember it was in Tucson though.
Yeah,
Where they
It
have
was
the
like 130 degrees.
yeah, it's been horrible out there.
Yeah, can't forget that heat.
You'll never forget that heat, and you'll never want to go back. We're from, well, he's from Arizona. I'm from Southern California, El Centro.
Yeah,
And
Yuma today it's supposed to be 116 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. We used to do the MySpace DIY tours, so we just hit up the up and coming booking agent the next town over, and so we got to see some interesting places. And yeah, when it was like 130 in Tucson, that's something I'll
Did
never,
you
forget.
play in Yuma, Arizona?
No, I think we only played in Tucson, and we broke down in Flagstaff near Sedona, so we ended up having to get a van there. So we were stranded there for like 4 or 5 days. So.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it was. I thought it was As Blood Runs Black, but it was As I Lay Dying played in Yuma.
Okay, yeah, I remember those guys from. I grew up around some of those guys too. Yeah, that's how old I am. My buddy Chris played guitar for them for a little while. Yeah.
You're like fine wine, get better with age.
I hope so.
So, I mean, that's pretty much all I have. Do you guys want to, say anything about, your music, what you have coming in
Tell your
the
fans.
works, tell your fans anything?
Yeah, just thank you so much for this last single seemed to have done really well. We appreciate everyone that even given us just listen, taking time out of their day. It's been a lot of positive feedback, so we really appreciate that. We appreciate you guys giving us an opportunity to do this. Had a handful of people reach out to us lately to do similar things. It really means a lot to us, and that's how we're going to get more exposure. So really, it's more or less just thank you, and then to check us out, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, the YouTube videos. So yeah,
that
hopefully some shows some point.
label, and you want a great band that will put in their hard work and effort, and all we need is a little push. Give us a contact.
Sounds good. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you guys again for coming on.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us. We do appreciate it very much. It was cool talking to you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that was a great interview. Awesome band. They're great guys. This is like the first time we ever have, all the members in the band joining us.
Dude, before the show, I was talking with them a little bit before it all got started, and it sounds like they all had some good 4th of Julys. So definitely need more of those.
Yeah, they're an up and coming band. Started in 2018. They're blowing up like
Dude,
crazy.
they came far for such a short period of time that they've been actually, active in doing that. But like they said, they were doing music before.
Yeah, I mean, they were in signed bands before, and what they say, AJ was in a large signed band that toured with a bunch of good people, like As Blood Runs Black. That's one of my favorite metal bands. One of my favorite metal bands. I have like a million.
Yeah, I love their guitar riffs, man. Their guitar riffs get me every time.
Yeah, pretty good band. So check them out. They are working on some new stuff. Be sure to tune in on that. And next week, I'm gonna spoil it. We have a Brazilian singer. She's from Brazil. She's lives in Canada now. She speaks like 4 different languages, and she's
Hollywood.
and she's getting up there in the music, and she's releasing some new stuff. So her name's Larissa. I'll post the flyer soon, but be sure to tune in and check that out.
Also, if you guys have any questions for us, if you have any recommendations that you'd like to, have us interview, definitely drop us a line in the comment section or send us a message. So,
and
thank you.
Donate if you can.
Please.
Anything helps. We want to do this for a living. We want to help you guys out, discover new artists and stuff like that. So anything helps.
If there's a way that we can be doing something better, we would like some constructive criticism, because we're doing as good as we possibly can, but we're always welcoming improvement.
Yeah, and I just started, buying all the stuff for the new podcast studio. So hopefully that, turns out nice and you guys could enjoy it. But I guess for now, we'll see you next week.
Take it easy, guys. Stay safe. Stay vigilant.
All right.